And I have said one of these quarterbacks is not going to work, and it's probably not going to be the kid's fault. It's going to be where he goes. And I do worry about Zach Wilson having potentially the fourth best coach in a tumultuous organization. I know he's talented. I don't doubt that. But I've seen a lot of talented guys wilt when they just don't have a support system. It's like any of our kids. Your thoughts about New York, the Jets, and Zach Wilson and the fit?
That is the concern, Colin. I mean, I talked to a bunch of coaches and a bunch of position coaches and quarterback coaches, and the biggest issue that I heard with Zach Wilson was not his arm talent, certainly. It was starting with this. It was the competition that he played last year at BYU, where through no fault of their own, because they couldn't schedule Power 5 opponents, they didn't play a lot of very good teams. And so when coaches looked at his film, they said, you don't see him throwing from a tight pocket, and the NFL is a tight pocket league. He's not facing SEC defensive fronts or even Big Ten defensive fronts. There's concerns about his play style, especially when he's not a big physical guy.
Right.
And he could take a pounding. And then the other big concern was the decision making. And the decision making, one coach pointed out to me, he said, his arm isn't as much of a wow arm like Patrick Mahomes, but there is some wow throws. But when Mahomes was coming out of Texas Tech, there was concern about his decision-making. Now, what was different with Patrick Mahomes than the situation Zach Wilson's going to probably go into is Patrick Mahomes went to the Chiefs where he was able to sit and learn behind Alex Smith, and he had a great coach for him and a great system offensively with Andy Reid. This is not what we're expecting Zach Wilson to go into, and he's going into the New York media market, which we know what that can be like. So there is a lot of concerns, not just about Zach Wilson, but about the fit he's going to have going in with the way he plays.
I know Trey Lance a little bit, blown away by the kid. People that I respect, like Trent Dilfer, are telling you at the whiteboard, pretty phenomenal kid. I did a mock draft yesterday. I think New England's not going to get the first three. And I just think Trey Lance fits them perfectly behind Cam for a year. What do you hear about Trey Lance? What did your scouts say?
May have the best arm actually in this draft, may have the most upside. People love his arm strength. They also like that he's really, really athletic and can run, and he's A-plus football IQ, A-plus character guy. Now, the challenges here are relatively small sample size. He didn't have a lot of throws in that one great year he had. Also, one of the quarterback coaches I talked to from the NFL said, when you watched him in the one game he did play against Central Arkansas this year, there was a lot of easy throws that you expect him to hit on, and he didn't. And so there's some inconsistency issues. There's some concerns a little bit about his mechanics, that there's some stuff that people feel like need to get cleaned up, but they think he will be able to do it. And people love the intangibles with this guy. I talked to his offensive coordinator with the Bison a few days ago. One of the things he talked about was just how smart he is, and also his commitment to working and learning. And they just rave about him from an intangible standpoint. So you take the intangibles with the arm talent and the athleticism and the physical size. There's a lot to like. You would not think that Trey Lance, with his intangibles and some of the physical tools, would be the guy who ends up being a bust down the road. But you're probably going to have to be really patient with him as he kind of gets acclimated to basically an NFL system and kind of works out some of the kinks and in his mechanics a little bit.
It's a really unique draft where I can see the top 10 picks all being offensive. Dallas won't get Kyle Pitts, but Micah Parsons is it. Is there any boomer bust there? What do you see with him, the linebacker from Penn State?
Yeah, there is some boomer bust. I had one NFL linebacker coach say, I think he has the talent to at some point be the best linebacker in the NFL. I mean, he is a guy who can run 4.4 flat, makes plays all over the field. Also, when you talk to people at Penn State, they've been talking about how his ability to rise to the competition and to the moment and his competitiveness is off the charts. Those are great things. The last game he played in college football, because he opted out last season, was the bowl game against Memphis. And the NFL people watched that film and they're like, that's one of the most impressive performances they've seen by a linebacker in years coming out of college. The concerns a little bit are he freelances a lot. He has not played a ton of football. One coach had made the point, I don't worry about him from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I do worry a little about from the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in terms of just the maturity. He's going to need somebody next to him maybe to get him settled in. He takes a lot of chances and he freelances a bunch. But there is a lot of wow factor. And again, you look at Devin White, who was remarkable in the Super Bowl. Devin White's a great athlete too. This guy's bigger. I mean, a lot of the linebackers you see in the NFL who are thriving, Roquan Smith, they're 6'1", if that. Devin Bush, even shorter than that. This guy's 6'3", 245. He has the potential to be really special. It's just, they're going to have to stay on him a little bit and just clean up some stuff just because he's still really young and at an early stage of his development. But there's a lot of stuff to love there. DeVonta
Smith, 166 pounds. That seems small. What did your scouts say?
People love his unbelievable hand-eye coordination. Brilliant kid in terms of you talk to people who know the Alabama staff really well. They said at one point Alabama had to have him play a little cornerback, and they said he jumped in. He knew the defense as well as anybody on the defense. Just a really, really savvy guy. The challenge is, and this is what one of the coaches pointed out to me, was, look, in our league, big guys beat up little guys. And the stuff that concerns you, because he's really tough and he will try, is just that when you take these shots from the side from these monsters in the NFL, that's where you get AC issues. That's where you get collarbone issues. And that's the stuff in terms of durability is the thing that gives them pause. But everything on the film, everything from the character standpoint, they love. It's just, again, he's 166, going to be 170 pounds. There is a little concern of how long will he last at that size in the NFL the way it's played.
Kyle Pitts is a unicorn. I can't wait for that stuff. I think Atlanta takes him at 4. Had Dan Mullen on yesterday. He was just great. I've never heard anybody. We haven't had a top 5 tight end prospect drafted since 1972. I mean, I imagine your scouts all loved him.
They did. And he's rare in that, yes, you can see the measurables. He's got great length for a tight end. He's running around high 4.4s. The stuff that jumped out to people on film was he didn't drop a ball last year.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Really competitive. People loved that he didn't have to play. He could have been one of these guys who opted out like Micah Parsons did, like Jamar Chase did, and still been a top 10 pick. Not only did he do that, but when they were down by 20 points against Alabama, he was the guy battling to bring them back. And to some degree, he did. So those things are wow things. The other thing is, when you look, you just do not see guys like this coming out of college at tight end. Usually guys who have this kind of freakish talent with that kind of length, they're rushing the passer. So to see what he has, to couple the ball skills that he has, he is different. He is really different. If you wanted to talk to the people in the SEC who coached against him, but also NFL talent evaluators that I talk to, they think if there is a guy with Hall of Fame talent, the top of the board on this draft, it is Kyle Pitts. He is that guy.
Good stuff. Bruce Feldman, Fox Sports, writer of The Athletic. Go subscribe and read his column this week. It's fantastic. Buddy, good seeing you again.
Great seeing you, Colin. We'll talk to you soon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.